Hello everybody, it's nice to have you guys here. My name is Kenyo and today we'll be looking at data science and data analysis with Python. Okay, so first off, Python is one of the greatest tools you can ever use for data analysis. There are some other tools that are predefined and already built into full applications that you can just copy CSV files to or Excel files or JSON files. Those are platforms like Excel itself, like other spreadsheet applications, um, and the different types of spreadsheet applications that are out there. We have some by MATLAB and the rest. There are different tools. There are a lot of different tools out there. Um, but for today's video, we'll be looking at doing a lot of stuff with Python. Now, the limitation to some of those applications out there is since they are already predefined, they are not very flexible when it comes to handling some very advanced forms of data. So that's where coding with Python comes into play. Yeah. So most people have always been asking what's the difference between data analysis and data science. Now the thing is, if you really want to understand the data you have, what you are doing is data analysis. But if you want to make decisions from what you have analyzed, what you're now doing is called data science. So the basic block is understanding the data, and then from data science, we move on to, oh, sorry, please pardon me, from data analysis, we move on to uh, data science, which is now making decisions with the data we have analyzed. Okay, so today we have a California housing price data set. So most times what we used to do is whenever we have a data set, we sometimes split it into two categories. The first one we call it the train set, and the next one we call it the test set. We use the train set to kind of understand, and then we use a test set to test to see if our assumptions or the models we have trained based on the train set are actually accurate or are actually working very well. Okay, so as you look through this data, you may likely not understand anything now with just your human eyes. But when you begin to, analyze it, you get to understand a lot of things. Okay, so first off, for us to comment, you need to install some things. If you have not watched the video on how to install Python, please go back, check the video, and install Python. The very first thing we're going to do here is to analyze this data. Then after we are done with analyzing data, we can take some steps forward. Okay, but this is going to be very basic and very simple. Right now, I'm on my test editor. I'm on VS Code, and I'm viewing the CSV file. You can use CSV plugins to make this much more aligned and nice, depending on what you want to achieve. Yeah, so let's go straight. First off, you need tools like NumPy. NumPy is a numerical module that is built in Python. It is very, very useful in data analysis and data science. You also need things like uh, MATLAB, plot, and Seaborn, to give you a visual experience of everything. You also need, very importantly, pandas to read the data set and get hold of it using things we call data frame. All right. So let's go straight into it. So I want to run a notebook. I created a simple notebook for this course. In Python, when we're talking about notebook, we're talking of a simple environment that can run on the browser or on different extensions. The notebooks are a lot more better than running default .python files because the notebook gives you an extensive layout. You can include markdown files. You can include a lot more explanation to your code so that people understand the premise upon which you are making some of the decisions. They also understand the way you are thinking while building these models or while trying to analyze this data. Okay, so I'll run Jupyter. Yeah, my bad. Okay, so this should the command we just run right now. You should do this only if you have Jupyter installed. If you don't have Jupyter installed, please pip install Jupyter. Pip install Jupyter. It will install everything you need. Um, that still boils down to going back to our very first video where we explained about the complete installation of Python and how you should get pip. Yeah, so this is what I'm talking about. Pip install all of this. We said pip is a package manager. It manages some packages or modules in the Python program. So when installing Python, it is always proper you install the package manager called pip. So let's go straight on to our browser. We can see here that the call tree is now open and we can start playing. So I created a little notebook here, this guy. Uh, I'm just going to open it in another tab so we start playing with it to analyze the data, the California data, that's this data. Uh, so we have this here and we have this. Okay, we're waiting for it to load up. Uh, that's the problem when you're using some cheap computer. Anyways, just kidding. Alright, so if you have not done this, do this in the first command. You can observe the exclamation mark here. In notebooks, what we do is if we want the command to be run on the terminal, you should include the exclamation mark. Yeah, I think that's that. This particular okay, so let's run our very first code. This is it's supposed to be a markdown file, but I just don't have time to change that. So let's just go straight so I don't waste our time. So this is our first code, and we are analyzing the default Titanic data from the cloud. Yeah. So you can see this is very simple. Now to read our California data, we can simply do this. Um, and we pass in the URL of the California data here. Um, we can pass in the entire URL, but since they're in the same directory, I don't think that's necessary. We can just pass this in. Yeah. Okay. We can run up everything again. So we have California data here. But for just a quick test, so we see how everything works, I'm just going to play with this Titanic data set too. I'm just going to run all the cells. All right. Okay, this guy is supposed to be a markdown file, and this guy, so I think that's where problem is coming from. So let's run all of this. Yeah, okay, so I think that's it. So let's get some basic understanding about some of these files that we have here. This file here is the default Titanic file. It contains the passenger's ID, the people who survived, the name, the sex, the tickets, and so on. So let's compare that with what we have here. So yeah, you can see the command head, this particular command will print out the very first 5 items, the very first 5 rows on that data set. So the total number of passengers, this is what we have here, 891, and these are all the columns expressed in that particular data set. The average age of people who boarded the Titanic is 29.699. I'm getting all of these things because of these simple commands here I've written. Now I can make a story from this Titanic dataset because of these simple commands. So if I also want to play with the California dataset, I just have to go there, you know, change it up here and see the columns, play with the columns, get the mean, get the marks, get different measures of central tendency, Okay, so the average age, as I said, was 29. The survival counts, as we see here, yeah. So 1 for true and 0 for false. So yeah. Okay, so if we then visualize these data that we have here, we can visualize it with Matplotlib or in some cases Seaborn, depending on what we want to achieve. So we can see the count, we can see the pictorial view of people who survived and people who didn't survive. Now for the age distribution and number of passengers, we can see from infants, we see that the people who really boarded Titanic the most are people between the ages of 20 and 30. They really boarded Titanic the most. So what we have just done here is pure data analysis. We have been able to analyze this data set in this URL, the Titanic dataset, and we understand a lot of things about the Titanic story just by analyzing this simple dataset. So analyzing dataset gives you more power. It makes you understand so many things. It makes you understand what's happening behind the scene. You just get more understanding about everything. So in our age and time, anyone that has data, has has power. Okay, so I don't make this video too long. Will be making another one, to buttress some of the things we have learned here. So, but for now, thank you very much and God bless. Remain safe, guys.